Hi, boys.
Adam,
How you doing?
How you doing? You all right?
all right?
I'm good. Good week of running for everybody by the looks of things. We've got 10 weeks until the event, and I feel like you boys have massively ramped up. Jamie, start with you. You've clocked up how many miles this week?
I was supposed to do 53, but I ended up doing, I think, just shy of 55 miles for the week, which, as you say, is a big step up. So definitely felt it yesterday and this morning. And yeah, it's progress, obviously. But I'm setting myself a target of 70, 75 miles for the week. Whether it's possible or not, I don't know. I'll give it a go. I'm pretty tired, to be honest with you, but I suppose that's part of the course. And
Why 75 miles?
I don't know. I just that's the way what I've decided to do. The way I look at it, there's how many miles for this thing? 62, 63,
Yeah.
62 miles in one day. So you need to run most of that, if not a little bit more, in a week. So I'm giving myself the opportunity to try and do that. And with that, I'm doing a bit of speed work within those sessions as well. So last week, for example, I did some hill repeats on Brockley Hill. And also did a tempo faster speed. So I'm working at different paces, but I'm keeping the long run probably capped at about 18 to 20 miles. So I'm not really going beyond that, apart from maybe that 150k that we've been discussing.
And how are you managing to fit all of this in around your busy job and family life?
Yeah, exactly. Strength training as well. So it's a combination of doing things maybe not just, maybe twice a day. So for example, we've got a strength training session, and maybe some runs. So you split your runs up perhaps, and some very early mornings. And with that, the sacrifice, obviously, you've got to try not to sacrifice on sleep. So I'm going to bed very early. I'm going to bed sometimes 9 o'clock in the evening, which I don't normally do. But if you want to train and you've got to be in as good focus as possible, you want your body to be in the best shape as possible, and it's a sacrifice that I've decided to make. It's not going to be long term, hopefully, just for the next weeks, I hope, because I don't think I would choose to be an ultra runner, if I'm being honest with you. But it's for a good cause, and let's give ourselves a challenge and see what we can do.
Yeah, fair play. And what's the earliest that you managed to get up in the morning?
Oh, I've got a rule that I don't get up. I was tempted. I don't get up before 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is the time, but I straight out the door, so I can be out at 5:15. I got to a point when I thought, oh my, shall I get up at 4:45? I just can't. I just can't get up before that. So I think 5 o'clock's early enough. But some people, you wouldn't believe it. Some people would get up earlier than 5, but I just can't. 5 is the earliest.
How about you, Greg? You're getting up at 5 o'clock?
No. It's too far too early for me. I wouldn't be able to concentrate, or my legs wouldn't even move at 5 o'clock in the morning, or 6. So seven minimum for me.
And how's your week been, mate? You've done pretty well.
Yeah, I think after a couple of long weeks, a couple of niggling injuries, and just things that have stopped me for about 3 weeks, I think in true Greg style, as I think you probably all know, I got back into it after my back was hurting, and instead of just getting back into it slowly, Greg style, I just went for it. So I did a couple of 10Ks after hurting my back, and on Wednesday I just went, right, I've got a bit of free time, I'm just going to go for the longest run I could possibly try and do, and I managed to break my record, which was 27.5K. There was quite a lot of trails in that as well, so it was the first time being in the trails all year, and felt fantastic after it. And at the weekend I thought, I might as well do the same thing again, but try and do a bit more. So I got up to 28.5K. But as I think, Jamie, you just said, time is the hardest thing here. I'm not going to get that time again this week. It's just going to have to be lots of shorter runs in the evenings or possibly at lunch. probably some hills. I think as you were saying, Jamie, Brockley Hill. I got up Marsh Lane. There's a nice big hill up to the rising sun. So I've managed to do that, every week for the past few weeks, and it feels really good after. So, yeah.
I think there's quite a lot to be said about staying in the trails, actually, because it's a harder workout. I personally find it much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Sort of like being in the fields and nice surrounding, and sort of like twisting and turning and whatever else. It's much more fun than just pounding the pavement.
That might be why you've done your knee, Adam.
Well, I can't. Well, that's a depressing thing. So I can't go out in the trails at the moment because I'm a bit worried about twisting it. I will have to go back out there, but I'm waiting for the ground to get a little bit firmer before I start hitting the trails again. I think it's probably the sensible thing.
I did.
What's it?
Half of my run, the first half of my run was 18k yesterday, and I hardly saw a car that whole time. It was literally it was across. It was called the Dollis Valley Green Walk, and it was along the a little short river, pretty much the whole way. You follow it through parks, nice. And all through that way. And when I got to Millwall East, I had to come back and just ran back on the road, and it was just weird. It was just really loud suddenly, and it wasn't particularly nice. So it was, in the trails, as you said, Adam, it's much more enjoyable. I got really muddy, ankle deep mud, but it was more fun route, put it that way.
Quite exhilarating. Well, look, the weather's going to get better. I went out for a run this morning, and as I was running down Stonegrove, the sun was shining, and even though it was sort of like pounding the pavement kind of running, at least the sun was out. And when the sun's out and you're out in the trails, it's literally I find the most exhilarating thing. So it doesn't make it sort of, I know that what we're doing is quite a lot of endurance running and lots of time on your feet and the time away from the family and work and trying to juggle it all. But when you're actually got your trainers on and you're out in the fields, it's fantastic. It's a great place to be. And obviously, sort of like all this is sort of building up as time's going on, and we've got 10 weeks left of training. So I'll tell you what, the time is absolutely whizzing by.
And absolutely. I think this is the right time for us to start hitting our form, just like our football teams late on in the season. We've got to start doing well now. You've got back, Adam, back from your injury, which is good. You're getting 15k under your belt today, which is fantastic.
20k, half marathon today, mate.
Well done.
Don't sell me shorts.
Oh, what did you do? Sorry, I thought you did 15k today. Oh, 21, wasn't it? Sorry, that was yesterday.
Yeah, 15 on Thursday, and then half marathon today. But for me, I've got to try to step it up quite. When I was training beforehand, I wouldn't have jumped up so significantly from like 15 to a half marathon, but I feel sort of like conditioned enough to be able to jump straight to that at the moment. Then next weekend, I'll try and hit sort of 25, and then maybe the weekend after that 30. But actually, quite frankly, it's not really so much the distance for me. It's more about sort of getting the right kind of amount of time on your feet. Say 3 hours, I think would probably be my weekend longest run. Unless I'm feeling really good, I might push it on for a bit more. But 3 hours on a Saturday, then maybe like 2 hours on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And then because I can't do hills like you guys, just because my knee's too buggered. So I'll just be on the spin bike, just trying to do a bit more fitness work, I think, and just try and do some speed sessions on there. Just it's not quite as good, but at least it's something. At least it keeps the body ticking over. And we'll see if it's going to be any good by the time we get to the 29th of May.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Well, it's all for a great cause. All for I'll tell you what's been. I know time's really short in this call, but what's been really sort of quite eye-opening for me is the amount of people who I've contacted, or like since starting this whole thing, who have contacted me privately. They've got loved ones who have suffered from some form of dementia. I feel like it's a really widespread disease that has affected so many people, but without doing what we're doing, I would never have known. I wouldn't have known that so many people, and it's not just the person who's going through it, it's obviously the wider family who've got to try and pick up the pieces as well. So it's very keen to try to promote awareness and obviously funding for the charity. But it's been really eye-opening. It's incredible the amount of people who have been affected.
Yeah, and a big thanks to all those people that have kindly donated. it's just amazing. You know, the fact that when we started, we didn't know how much we were going to raise. We're already up to, I don't know how much we were up to, but over 6,000, I think, isn't it?
6,700, I think. So we've got.
What did we start on? What was our goal at the beginning? About two.
We're supposed to get 1,800 between the three of us.
Yeah.
And I know 1,800 I thought was quite a soft target. I always felt that we could make it. I thought 5 would be quite good, but actually now that, you know, when the donations started flooding in, and we sort of now hit sort of 6,700, I'm absolutely dead keen to get up to 10k. We can get up to 10k.
But it, you know, it doesn't hide from the fact that people have been exceptionally generous. It's been a tough time for a lot of people with the pandemic and everything else, and you know, to ask people, well, people have chosen to donate to this very worthwhile cause, and we're very, very grateful for any donation. Doesn't matter how big, how small. Just very grateful to everyone that's supported us. I think
it's definitely pushed us all on, hasn't it? Kept us going, and making us want to, you know, achieve this 100k, you know, on the 29th of May.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. And you know what? I was thinking earlier today that, I mean, there's been some astonishingly high donations. But for me, it doesn't matter how much people are giving. It's the fact that people are giving, because if you give, you know, 10 quid, 20 quid, if that person has found it really hard to kind of afford that 10 or 20 pounds, that means just as much as people who are giving sort of, you know, 200, 300, 400 pounds. So it's, you know, it's relative. You know, there's no minimum amounts. People give whatever they possibly can. But yeah, you're right. You know, anybody who's given, and just massively grateful. We can try and push on though, and try to encourage as much as we can to try to get people to donate. Yeah, I mean, it's the job's not done yet, so we've still got 10 more weeks of plugging this, and 10 more weeks of training. 10 more weeks of training. But as you say, Greg, you're absolutely right. Like, you know, when you see the donations coming in, you get the messages coming through. It really does mean something. Like, you know, you put your body through just utter brutal hell at times, just to make sure that, you know, we can kind of keep on going and keep the motivation going. It feels like it's all been done for, you know, a proper purpose.
Yeah.
So it's
getting out, including getting out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Nah.
Yeah, I haven't quite managed that one myself.
Any time I can do it.
Well, look, you know, fair play to you, because it's that's hardcore dedication. That really is.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well done.
Anyway, we've
got to go and watch. We've got to go and watch Spurs lose now.
Yeah,
I won't keep you going. Don't watch the match. That'll put you off running.
All right, boys. Well, have a good week over the next week. We'll probably talk at some point. But good luck with your running and your training.
Good luck this week, everyone. Adam, Greg.
Yeah,
you boys.
Yeah. All right. Speak soon.
Speak soon.
Cheers.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.